therapy. I've never done it before. I find therapy in the art forms that I do. You don't want to touch or sort of mess with what you feel like working, even though it might be damaging you in a way. If
So this is such a great insight from this gentleman where he's saying, I'm nervous about therapy and I'm nervous about its effect on me because I've kind of constructed this really delicate system that works for me. And if I mess with the system, will that mess with me getting the outcomes that I need to get? Even if the system I've created is harmful or destructive. And so I might go into therapy and it could mess that system up. Maybe therapy will introduce new ideas, maybe challenge me, make me think in new ways, and that could just mess up my perfectly balanced system. As a therapist, if I was talking with a client like that, I would acknowledge that's a real concern and a real fear. I would also suggest that his fear or concern is coming from a place of anxiety. Therapy isn't going to set you back. Good therapy is going to add tools to you. Good therapy is going to equip you to better accomplish your goals. So I want to look at the system that he's created and then give him a better system, give him more tools and more options. Because if he's saying, I only have this one way of accomplishing my goals in this harmful, destructive way, I would say, great, that's your option A. What if there was an option B? What if there was an option C? And what if, as we start to explore new options, there could be an option that you find where it has less harm and more benefit? Would you be open to something like that? I mean, that's a real question, right? So I'm not trying to take away something from him that's effective. That would make me nervous too. You're going to take away my effective tool? No, 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 no. I'm going to give you 5 more even better effective tools. Would you want something like that? Maybe. What I have found with patients is that they almost kind of weaponize their anxiety to help them accomplish goals. Or I've analogized it to a client has this really effective tool, but every time they use it, it cuts them. So I use this tool to accomplish this outcome, but it's cutting me in the process. What if I gave you a tool that accomplished the same outcome, but it didn't cut you in the process? Again, would you be interested in something like that?
I go get therapy, will I still have this drive? Will I still feel like,
Right.
you know,
That's a good
is
point,
this,
man.
Yeah.
I feel
I love this therapist response. That's a good point, man. So, this therapist is creating a safe therapeutic environment where it allows the client to self evaluate, to review. He's just going to acknowledge his point of view. He's going to give him empathy and he's going to create that safety within the relationship to reflect and evaluate. So, that's a good therapy response. I think men are very afraid of going into a therapeutic relationship where they're just going to be critiqued and I don't want to say challenged because I know men like being challenged, but they're going to be thrown off kilter and they're going to lose their kind of drive towards achieving their goals. Again, therapy is not about shifting your values and your goals. It's about helping you evaluate and better align your behavior with your values and then better construct your goals so you're more likely to accomplish them. That's what therapy is about. So this therapist response is wonderful.
like
Look at it.
Mhm.
you don't want to mess nothing up. You don't want to kind of have a system. And it's like, damn, I go get therapy. Maybe I can.
See, he's talking about the system and he doesn't want therapy to go mess his system up. Totally valid concern and fear. I don't want to mess it up too, not initially, but if again, me using the tool to accomplish a goal cuts you, can I ask the question, if there was another tool that didn't cut you, would you like to use it?
Back and say, actually, I don't want to do this shit no more.
Here as a therapist, what's your response to that? And it's dope that you get therapy and acting because I do think that's therapeutic and a way to process those feelings.
Okay, again, great therapist here because he's saying, you know what, there's a number of ways to get therapeutic effects. Maybe it's doing something creative and artistic through poetry, through music. I like being artistic myself. Oddly enough, I've never really kind of integrated it into my therapy, but there is expressive art therapy. I need to go learn it and get trained in it because you've got this client right here saying, I love being creative. What if I came along as a therapist and said, all those passions of yours, all those things that make you feel really alive and engaged, Let's bring him into the therapy experience. Why not? So, again, this is a good therapist who's giving a strong affirmation. He's highlighting the positives. This is a strength based therapist. And I like this guy. Okay. I am a strength based therapist. I'm keen on looking at what's right. Where is the client doing the right thing? Where is the client strong and resilient? And then let's expand that and grow that and develop that. That's what I want. I'm into that.
But I would challenge you to even think about, instead of what it would disrupt, what it will unlock.
Yes. That's called a reframe. A great therapeutic response. He's not coming in straight with the challenge. Oh man, you're thinking about this totally wrong. And here's how you're doing it wrong. And here, I'm just going to tell you how to do it. That's not very therapeutic. But the therapist is acknowledging his concerns, he's validating them, and then he's allowing him to dream. This is something I do with clients, in the intake session. I say, dream with me. And in fact, my clients are kind of sick of hearing me say that, and they poke fun at me. Here Dan goes again saying, dream with me. But what I want the client to do is not just envision the ways in which things have never worked, but the ways in which things could work. So if it could work, what would it look like? So again, good therapeutic response here. And it's not an immediate challenge. He's kind of working with the client in the existing paradigm and entering into it, allowing that therapist to join the client, then helping him expand his frame of thinking by reframing. Hope I'm not using too much therapy jargon there. It's just expanding your perspective so you can consider new options.
I think a lot of times in therapy, it's one of those things like, man, hey, this door is closed. I don't know what's behind it, but I'm functioning good without it.
But that comes from a
What's behind the door? I don't know. And I've been too anxious to open the door and see what's behind it. But a good therapist will say, I'm here with you. You're not in this alone. Let's investigate. Let's explore and get curious. Looks like there's a closed door right here. Have you ever considered looking in it? Oh, I could never do that. That's too scary. I don't know what's behind it. That tells me this is anxiety, right? It's that fear of the unknown. It's the fear of the unfamiliar. Patients will cling to a familiar destructive pattern, even though it's destructive. They cling to it because it's familiar, rather than let go of that harmful destructive pattern in search of a new pattern that's healthier and more life giving and more positive. So I'm helping that patient build some awareness around that and helping loosen the grip of the anxiety so then they can start to explore new options.
place of not having anything. And when you give an opportunity to have something, you feel like it's always around the corner for you to lose it.
Again, anxiety. I don't want to lose something that's effective. I know, and so it sounds like this guy has some awareness like, I know this is hurting me and I know this isn't good for me, but I can't lose something that's effective. That's a valid concern. I get that. And so what I say to patients is, I get it. You need something that's effective because otherwise you're kind of left defenseless. That's not a good position to be in. So you need something that will work for you. I'm telling you, we can find something that will work for you and doesn't cause damage. Would you like that? Yes, please, but I'm nervous. Don't be nervous. I'm here with you. Two heads are better than one. We'll do this together and we'll explore.
The shoe gonna drop.
Even though it's like I'm 10 years in, wars, blah, 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 it's still like I just got here. Because you know there's more for you to do. Maybe at some point, I journey down that, man.
Whenever you ready, bro. Whenever you ready,
man.
It's never too.
Oh, what a good therapist, man. I'm not going to push you and force you into something that you're not ready for because that's coercion and that's not you being the driver. Rather, I'm going to be a therapist who's going to empower you to be the driver. So whenever you're ready, let's do this. And I'm ready to go. Are you ready to go? You're not ready to go? Okay, let's talk about it. It's the anxiety, right? But if anxiety weren't always in the driver's seat and you could push anxiety to the passenger seat, I wish we could kick it out of the car. Sometimes that's not always possible. But if it weren't in control, it's in the passenger seat, and we could put something else in the driver's seat, what would that be? Maybe your hopes, maybe your values and your goals? Whoa, that's pretty cool to be driven by your dreams, hopes, and values and goals. that's a really good life. And so, what that looks like functionally, I know I'm talking in metaphor here, but in a functional sense, what that looks like is my behavior is now congruent with my values and my goals. And I'm accomplishing them in a way that's good for me and good for others. And so it's not causing harm. Therapy is so cool. That's what therapy can do. And so if you're in the hands of a good therapist like this guy, you'll get there. But I really enjoyed watching this video. It really resonated with me. And a lot of themes in this video I've noticed come up in my therapy working with men. So hopefully this video resonated with you. And hey, watch for more videos with me. I've got a channel where I talk about men's mental health and men's issues. And so please feel free to click the like button and the subscribe button, because I try to come out with videos and content on a regular basis. And so it helps me, helps the channel if you like and subscribe and comment. And so I can dedicate more time to this and know what kind of content that you're looking for. Thanks.